Welcome to episode 31 of the Practical Ed Tech Podcast. That's a month worth of podcasting so far. So let's get right into this week's news and notes. Couple of things from a personal note to start with. Number one, I got into Dirty Kansas 200. You might be wondering, what the heck is Dirty Kansas 200? What it is? It's a 206-mile gravel bike ride race. It's kind of like getting into the Boston Marathon for runners. It's 206 miles in a single day in a big loop starting and ending in Emporia, Kansas. A couple of teachers have already reached out to me to offer their homes in Emporia for me to stay in. It is a huge event. World Tour pros, professional riders show up at this event, and then there's average Joes like me who are just doing it to try to finish it before sunset. That's my big goal, finish it before sunset. So looking forward to that. It's really going to mix up my training for the next 4 months. I've actually hired an online coach and invested in a training program, so really going to get into it to do that. So if you're interested in following along on that journey, follow me on Instagram or sign up at edtechfitness.com for my newsletter. I'll be including some stuff there. So other things you can register for that I've announced this week: the Practical EdTech Summer Camp. I've hosted this every year except for one since 2013. It's a 2-day hands-on event, and for this year I've added a couple of new things. Number one, as I mentioned last week, everyone who signs up will get an Arduino starter kit. So that's a new topic for this year. I'm going to keep some of my classic topics, if you will, in there, but I'm going to add in a couple of new things. So Arduino is one of them, doing some programming. If you're hearing that and thinking, well, this is not for me, it might be too techy, don't worry. It's not all about programming. That's just going to be a small part of what we're doing. It's 2 days, hands-on. It's only 25 people. I limit it to 25 people. So the group really kind of dictates the pace at which we go through the different topics. The other thing I've added this year is a little social event in the evening on Monday night at a local brewery. It's walking distance from the resort where the Practical EdTech Summer Camp happens. It's walking distance. It's a cool little brewery, and they're only going to be open for us. So not open to the public, only going to be open for us that evening. So that's an optional activity that I have this year. All right, so enough of the shameless commerce division of my life. Let's get into some bigger and better things, or other things. I shouldn't say bigger and better. Other things. Google Earth, which I love, you love, we all love Google Earth. Google Earth this week added some new mobile features. So now you can look at the stars in Google Earth on your phone, just like you could do in the desktop version or the web browser version of Google Earth. They've also added animated clouds in the mobile version of Google Earth. If you read Google's blog post about it, they say this is something that they've been wanting to do for a long time, and now finally tablets and phones have gotten to the point where they're powerful enough to support rendering all of those things in Google Earth on mobile. It's still not as powerful as using the desktop version or the web browser version, but it's a great step in the right direction. So check that out. If you haven't updated your Google Earth on your phone or on your tablet recently, run that update and you'll be able to check that out. It's actually pretty cool stuff. Unsplash, which is one of my favorite places to find public domain images, this week announced a handful of new collections of images from big institutions, including the Library of Congress, the New York Public Library, Boston Public Library, NOAA. There's a few others I'm forgetting there, but basically there's a handful of new sources of high-quality public domain images you can find. Check out the Library of Congress collection. That's my favorite. The Library of Congress collection has a whole bunch of old posters and stuff as well as portraits of presidents. But I really like the old posters for public campaigns, like "Swim for Health in Safe and Pure Pools," or the classic "Join the Navy, the service for fighting men, and don't kill our wildlife." So neat stuff like that. Neat old posters you can get in the Unsplash Library of Congress collection. So go to unsplash.com, look for the Library of Congress collection. It's a cool new collection of stuff. I just love those old posters. Flipgrid, everyone's favorite video response tool. Flipgrid this week introduced a new educator mode in the Flipgrid mobile app. This gives you access to almost all of the tools you would normally use as a teacher in the web browser version of Flipgrid. Now you can do it through the mobile app. Previously, the mobile app for teachers was pretty limited. This gives you access to just about all those other features that you would need, that you normally would have to go to your laptop in order to access. Think Like a Coder is a series of animated videos from TED Ed. There's going to be 10 when the series is done. There's 6 right now. They released the latest episode this past week. Think Like a Coder is, 5 to 6 minute long animated video that tells a little story of a couple of characters who have to crack a code, find evidence and crack a code by using the logic that you would use in programming. I initially thought, no, my students aren't going to like this. I showed it to my freshmen last week. They love these videos. So check it out. Even if you're not teaching computer science, it's good for just introducing some concepts on logic and logical thinking and progression of problem solving. So check that out. Like I said, I didn't think my freshmen would like it. I thought it was a little too youngish for my freshmen. They absolutely loved it. Google this week put their open dataset search out of beta. It's no longer in beta. It was a beta product for about 8-9 months. I first saw it last spring. First got a crack at it last spring. It's been in beta. It is now out of beta. It's a great resource for finding public data sets. So it's not a search tool like, it's not going to give you websites per se. It's going to give you sets of data in Excel, CSV. You can also find it in KMZ format, I believe, too. So give that a try. It's Google's new data set search tool. It's now out of beta. My friend Lee Lefevre at Common Craft. You've probably seen Common Craft videos shared on my blog over the years. Common Craft offers excellent, simple explanations of all kinds of concepts. Google Docs in plain English or wikis in plain English is, a couple of their kind of hallmark ones, or their most popular ones. But anyway, this week Lee announced that he's publishing a new book. His prior book that came out in 2012 was The Art of Explanation, and it's a great book. If you're looking for guidance on how to make better explanations, particularly better explanatory videos, it's a great read. His new book, called Big Enough, is more of an entrepreneurship book, in the concept being that you don't have to try to build the super big business. It's building a lifestyle business, right? A business you can sustain with your lifestyle, that fits with your lifestyle. I'm probably not doing the book great service right now with that explanation. But go to Lee's blog, leelefevre.com. I believe is his blog, Lee Lefevre. Or follow him on Twitter, twitter.com/Lee Lefevre. Lee Lefevre. Great book. Or subscribe to his newsletter, Ready for Rain, which is a good weekly newsletter that he also sends out. Speaking of videos, this week I revisited VidReader. VidReader is a tool you can use to create a transcript of any YouTube video that's in English. They got a new look. They've updated their look. It's a little simpler than before, a little cleaner look than before. All the same services are there. Just a nice, cleaner look to the site. So if you haven't tried VidReader before, go to VidReader and give it a shot. And last but not least, from the news and notes department, last Sunday I was skiing by myself. Actually, it was awesome. I love taking my daughter skiing, but every once in a while you want to go by yourself and really get some runs in. And anyone who has young kids knows that feeling. Anyone who has young kids and skis probably knows that feeling really well. Or if you have young kids and there's an activity you get them to do and you want them to do it with you, you know there's a difference between doing it by yourself and doing it with your kids, right? I love both, but it was nice to get out by myself. Anyway, all that to say that I got out by myself last Sunday to ski. I was riding the lift and making small talk with the couple that were on the lift with me, and they mentioned a name. It was an old mutual friend of ours, mutual acquaintance of ours. And that led to another quick conversation that led to the fact that the person I was riding with was an investor and an advisor to a neat little education company called Unruly Studios. Unruly Studios is in Boston, and they have a product called Unruly Splats. And because of that conversation, I checked it out this week. Unruly Splats are these flat panels, basically. They're picture 1 foot by 1 foot flat panels that light up when you touch them or when you step on them. But you can also program them to light up on their own. And this is where the programming comes in. They have a companion app. It's a lot like Scratch. Looks a lot like Scratch. It's visual block programming, and students can program their splats to do different sequences and turn those sequences into games where students have to tap the panels in sequence. Think of it like programming your own Dance Dance Revolution almost. That's a neat little tool. A little bit pricey for me. A little bit on the pricey side. They're cost $1,200 for a classroom set. They have variable pricing, but I think the minimum pricing is $1,200 for a classroom set. So it's an investment, but it's a pretty cool product. I'm not ready to run out and buy it for myself right now because I haven't tried it enough, but they're demoing these things at various conferences. They demoed it at ISTE last year. I believe they're at TCEA this week. Is it this week? Whenever TCEA is. There are a bunch of conferences, so check it out. Maybe it may be a great thing for an elementary school. It's a little too kiddish, I think, for high school students. But I think it'd be great for like 4th, 5th, 6th grade, maybe 7th grade, maybe even 8th grade. So check that out. Go to Unruly Studios, and the product is called Unruly Splats. Neat little product. Available now. All right. Now it's time for some thoughts from my classroom. We are in tour and recruitment season at my school. So as you may know, I'm working in a technical/vocational school this year. And part of our funding is based on how many students we have. Therefore, we have student tours from other schools that come in. Also, recruiting within our own school. So we have tours and recruitment happening right now. We got a big recruitment fair coming up on Thursday and Friday. Unfortunately, I have to be out on Thursday. I'm getting this. If you're watching the video of this, I'm getting this thing fixed on my eye. I'm getting my eye fixed. So yeah, a little eye surgery. So that's fun. But we're in full-on tour and recruitment, and I'm telling you that to tell you this, that my program right now only has 3 girls in it. So there's a lot of, I don't want to say pressure, but there's a lot of importance placed on trying to get more girls to join the program. So I'm working really hard to encourage girls to sign up, and been talking to some of my boys who are going to be representing us at the recruitment fair of being polite and respectful and making it and making it feel welcoming to everyone who wants to join. For everyone who wants to join. So that's that. On that note, my sophomores and juniors were really on their game this week. I was really happy with some of the labs they did. We're getting into a new topic for a lot of them. My sophomores and juniors, we spent the first half of the year mostly on hardware, on computer hardware, and now we're getting into networking. So my sophomores and juniors are getting a new topic, and they've really been on their game, really paying attention to the labs and paying attention to the instructions. So it was really a great week. I love it when a plan comes together. It's just one of those weeks where, wow, every lesson plan came together for that class. It was great. All right. On that note, let's get into questions from readers and listeners and viewers like you. Hey, Richard. Not sure if you've seen this site before. I stumbled upon it. It looks like one of those nuggets you find now and then. It's called Live Worksheets. Check it out. Brian. I had not seen it before. It is a pretty darn cool tool. I haven't written a blog post about it yet, but I'm going to. So Live Worksheets, if you're watching the video of this, it's going to pop up on the screen in just a moment, depending on how fast my network will cooperate. But Live Worksheets is exactly what you might think. They're basically fillable PDFs. You'll go and you'll find all kinds of PDFs on the page that you can then fill out, and you can see they're in various languages, and anyone can add their own, make their own interactive worksheets with it. So check it out. It's liveworksheets.com. Not revolutionary in terms of technology integration, but it could be a really useful tool for someone out there. All right. Next question. Good morning. I was wondering if I may ask for a suggestion/recommendation. I have some 8th grade students creating videos incorporating music. I'd prefer not to use Adobe Spark because I don't want the Adobe logo on each slide. What would you suggest? Their devices are managed by the school, so it needs to be a free app that I can push out. Thanks for your help, Kathleen. Well, Kathleen, I wrote back to Kathleen, and I told her, part of the problem, if you will, or part of the trade-off with using a free video editing tool is that pretty much all of them will put a watermark on your video in some way, shape, or form. Whether that's WeVideo, Animoto, Adobe Spark, they all seem to do it. There is an exception to that in a product called Headliner. Headliner is a video creation tool. They will give you their pro version if you sign up and write to them with your school-issued email account and go through the little verification process to verify that you actually are a teacher and you're not just trying to scam them. Go through that process. They'll give you access to their free tools, their free access to their pro tools, which includes publishing your video without a watermark on it. So you've got that option. The other option is to try Canva's new video editor. Again, with the Canva video editor, you'll need to get access to it. You'll need to sign up with your school-issued email account and then sign up for the education version and go through their verification for their education version, and then you get access to their video editor. Go to canva.com/education to get that. Question from Tim. I watched your video about confidential mode in Gmail. I can't seem to find that icon anywhere in my account. Is there a setting that I need to enable in order for it to appear? Thanks, Tim. Well, Tim, so yes and no. So here's the deal. A lot of times, and I'll open my Gmail for those who are watching the video of this. A lot of times, if you're in a managed domain, so you're working in your school-issued email account, they may have not turned on that feature for you school-wide. Now, theoretically, by default, it's supposed to be on school-wide for everybody. So let's go in. But your school may have turned that off for whatever reason. confidential mode is really great because it lets you set an expiration date on your messages. It also lets you prevent printing of attachments if you want to, or printing of your the contents of your email. So there's some good little features that are available with the confidential mode. All right. And while that's loading in the background, there we go. So if you go into your settings in Gmail, you'll be able to find that your confidential mode is available in there. I forget exactly where it is. But yeah, long story short, long story short is that your school may not have enabled it yet. All right. Question from Lindsay to wrap things up. I'm hoping you can help. I'm trying to figure out if there's a way to connect multiple Google Forms but not have all the responses end up on the same spreadsheet. Do you know if that's possible and how I might do it? Thanks for everything you do, Lindsay. So, Lindsay, yes, you can do this. And I actually made a video about it a couple months ago now. So if you want to combine the responses from multiple Google Forms, let's say you create a Google form that's, we'll just call it sample 1 and sample 2, and you want to have all the responses show up in the same spreadsheet. Right? Oh, I'm sorry, the other way around. You want to connect multiple Google Forms and not have all the responses on the same spreadsheet. Yes, you can do that. And I did make a video about this. There's a couple of ways you could do this. So number one, you could take, let's say, quiz sample 1, right, your sample 1 form, and you want to use some of those questions in your sample 2 form. Create your new sample form, create your new form, and use the import button when you go to hit a new button, a new question. Use the import function. It will pull up all your prior Google Forms, and you can import questions from them. Let me do that. The other thing you can do, if you want to connect multiple Google Forms, so let's say you've got Form 1, Form 2, and you want to see all the responses in one place but not have it on the same sheet, you can make multiple sheets within the same Google spreadsheet. Those little tabs at the bottom that a lot of people overlook. You can make a separate sheet within the same spreadsheet. Within the same spreadsheet file, you can have multiple tabs and multiple sheets. So you can do that as well. And I do have a video on my YouTube channel about both of those processes. So I probably just butchered that explanation, but the short version is yes, you can do that, Lindsay, and yes, there's a video on my YouTube channel on how to do both of those things. All right. So again, shameless commerce division of my life. I want to point out the registration is on sale for the Practical EdTech Summer Camp. You can sign up right now. If you sign up by Valentine's Day, the cost is only $350, which is $75 off the standard early registration and $125 off of the late registration cost. So sign up early. It's $350, meals included. Breakfast and lunch both days, and 16 plus hours with me and a whole bunch of other cool teachers. I've had some teachers come back 3, 4, and in one case even 5 times do it. So hope to see you there. All right, everybody, have a fantastic weekend and a great next week.